beneath our emotional feet. Okay. The self-love platform is made up of individual planks that collectively build a foundation of self-love that makes love and life sustainable. Here's a memo from Normal Land. Without self-love, we will certainly die. We will. Well, the plank and self-love foundation that we learned about today is validation. Okay? In other words, when we operate in self-love, it means we have a non-negotiable right for our truth to be our truth. I'm going to say this again. The plank and self-love foundation that we will learn about today is validation. In other words, when we operate in self-love, it means we have a non-negotiable right for our truth to be our truth. Okay. So memo from Normal Land. Our personal truth is non-negotiable. Okay. Here's the intentions of our class today. Number one, we are going to learn what is the abusive technique called gaslighting. Number two, we are going to learn how to recognize gaslighting and its many forms. And number three, we are going to learn the steps to heal so you can clear your emotional vision and live safely in your truth. Okay. And then here's a reclaiming tool of the week. Okay. Truth and perception. Truth and perception. That's the tool for your toolbox. Okay. The next tool we're going to put in your toolbox again is truth and perception. What is as we begin the teachings, let's learn about this thing called gaslighting. Let's do what the dictionary says, okay? A form of psychological manipulation that someone uses against another person to make them question their own sanity. I'll read it again. A form of psychological manipulation that someone uses against another person to make them question their own sanity. In other words, it is a form covert abuse in which a person seeks to sow seed of doubt in the narcissist target so they can keep the target in a spin, so they can continue, number one, be a fuel source. Because when we are in a spin, it gives them a powerful high. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, so that's number one. Okay. And then, number two, so they can continue to get away with their shenanigans. They like to keep us that way. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse a narcissist intentionally engages in. It's to harm. What's that noise?
Car.
Oh,
The alarm is beeping.
okay. It's to harm, control, frustrate, and most important, cause complete confusion on their target. Gaslighting is lying with a goal. It is distorting the truth intentionally. The goal of gaslighting is to make the victim feel so crazy that they resort to the narcissist for all their thoughts and decisions. Have any of you ever been in a situation like this? Yeah. And when you were in that situation, did you feel like, at least I can speak for myself, when I was in that situation, I felt like I didn't know who I was anymore, and I questioned everything I did. And I was kind of scared of living because I didn't know what was truth anymore. Did anybody ever feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I lost my identity.
Yeah. I don't even know what I liked anymore, what colors I used to. I know what everyone else did. It was awful. And I remember I used to do catering, and it took me 2.5 years to get back to doing it because I couldn't be creative. My creativity was gone. I don't know if did that happen to you? Mm-hmm. You're an artist or a writer or anything like that, or a singer, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like you don't even exist. That didn't even exist in you. That's very scary.
You doubt your decisions, like when you're trying to be creative, you make decisions,
And
you just don't feel.
and you don't tell
like you can
anybody.
trust what your ideas
Yeah, you
are.
can't tell anybody because you think you're crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't tell my parents. They knew something was wrong, but I couldn't say anything. It was and I isolated from my close friends too, and it was sad.
That was my norm.
Yeah, and my kids, my young 2 boys suffered quite a bit with this, me being there. Okay, here we go. The goal of gaslighting is to make the victim feel so crazy that they resort to the narcissist for all their thoughts and decisions. Gaslighting is cult-like brainwashing, and it is the favorite tool of the narcissist. The term gaslighting gained its visibility from a 1944 movie called Gaslighting, where a husband tried to make his wife check into a mental hospital by constantly creating doubt in her reality. So this leads to the question, why? Why does a narcissist gaslight? Here's the answers. Write these down. These are good. So remember if someone ever asks you what gaslighting is. Here's the answer. Number 1, to gain power and control over others. Number 2, to convince you that they are right and you are wrong. Number 3, they will use gaslighting to minimize or erase the abuse that took place. That's a good one.
Wait.
They will use
What was that again?
They will use gaslighting to minimize or erase the abuse that took place. You're just exaggerating. I didn't hit you. What's wrong with you? Okay, number 4. They will use gaslighting to play the victim. And number 5. I think it's no, there's more. 5. They will use gaslighting to evade responsibility. Evade. E-V-A-D-E.
Oh, E.
Evade.
E.
A-D-E. Okay.
What was the full sentence though?
Okay, I'll give it to you. They will use gaslighting to evade responsibility. Number 6. They will use gaslighting to fabricate conversations about events that never happened. I'll read it again. They will use gaslighting to fabricate conversations about events that never happened to get a view source from a stranger.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I didn't know. So it's about,
Feeling.
I was a compulsive liar.
yeah, I know, I used to say he was a
You just
compulsive liar, but I
yeah.
didn't realize that it was a high, that they're like trying to,
It's just to make them feel good because they're so wounded.
The mask.
Number 7, they will use gaslighting to renege on a promise they make easier.
Reneg.
Renege, R-E-N-I-G-H.
Reneg.
Renege,
Mhm.
N-I-G,
Mhm.
renege. How come the G-H is spelled like an egg?
R-E-N-I.
N-I-G-H.
Okay.
Why something sounds like that?
What was it?
What's the sentence again?
They will use gaslighting to renege on a promise they make easier?
Yes.
Okay. What does renege mean?
Like take back.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, yeah, take it back.
Take it back.
oh, I forgot.
I never said that.
Yeah.
I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about.
gosh, I can't tell, I wish I had a
Sorry, I'm
nickel
too
for
busy.
every time.
Oh my gosh.
That's material things. We don't need to worry about that right now.
Okay, number 8. They will use gaslighting to make you feel like you are crazy or that something is really wrong with you. Okay. So, what are some gaslighting phrases narcissists use? Here they come. They include, I didn't say that. You guys know that. That never happened. It's not a big deal. You shouldn't feel that way. And they will say things such as, you said, and then fill it in, remaining the thought with their own thoughts. Or number 6, they will tell you, you are crazy, you're too sensitive, you're overreacting, you're paranoid, when you start to question things. Okay. They will tell you people said things against you when in fact they didn't. Or they really, really convert ones, will say things like, no, my love, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just concerned about you and want the best for you. They will tell you it was just a joke, or I must have dreamt that, or you must have dreamt. That was a good one. I must have dreamt that. They get you to think that you could say that. I must have dreamt that. I thought you said this. They will use it when they have obviously violated you, and then use it again as though it is your problem that you have the problem with their violation.
Was that all in 10?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of them. There's 8 of them. You want me to read them again? I mean, these,
Oh my
you
God.
guys pretty well know this,
Yeah.
especially if you're with one or been with one. The problem with gaslighting is that on the surface, these phrases seem quite benign, but trust me, they are not. Gaslighting, when done slowly and consistently, can cause the victim confusion, frustration, self-doubt. This is a good one, brain fog. And another one, disorientated, fear, paranoia, terror, feeling like, God, I identify this, feeling like you are losing your mind, feeling too vulnerable, isolating, keeping secrets, false guilt, feeling misunderstood, feeling lonely, feeling not good enough, and questioning your value and your sanity. And worse, gaslighting can make you feel downright insane. Because gaslighting can make you have a compulsion where you have to because gaslighting can make you have a compulsion where you have clarity and re-clarify and re-clarify again. And finally, gaslighting can make you feel discarded and worthless because when an abuser gaslights and minimizes or discounts or outright says the abuse never took place, this is even more painful than surviving the abuse itself. So what is the difference then between truth and a different person's point of view? Well, let me give you a great example. If I asked all of you to go to the back of the room and spin around in a fast circle 3 to 5 times and then quickly run towards me or the other side of the room, how many of you would feel dizzy? How many of you would feel like the room is spinning? How many of you, if you were to put through a lie detector test, could pass because there's no doubt to you that the room is spinning? Yet, how many times does the narcissist tell you, darling, the room is not spinning? Ladies, this is called perception, meaning everyone is looking at it from their own angle. So, what then is truth? Here's the definition. The definition of truth is that which is right for our life. Again, the definition of truth for us is that which is right for our life. And question, how do we know what is right? And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Because it feels right in our emotional guidance system. Does anybody have any questions about that? We had a question on what emotional guidance system was. It's your most like your intuition, your inside that says, feels like, oh, this doesn't feel right, and not ignoring it. Okay. Here's a memo from Self-Love Normal Land. Abandoning our truth is the gateway to our pain. Abandoning our truth is the gateway to our pain. So when we minimize those gut feelings and we don't follow them, we end up making choices that hurt us. Okay? Here's a question. How does this tie into healing from gaslighting? Well, when we abandon our truth and keep walking just because the narcissist says we are dizzy, we end up hurt. Yep, we do. All right, here's another memo from Self-Love Normal Land, she calls it. My perception may not be reality, but it is my truth. Again, my perception may not be my reality, but it is my truth. Therefore, I must make decisions based on my truth to find and keep myself on my life safe.
Could you read that, please?
My perception may not be reality, but it is my truth. Therefore, I must make decisions based on my truth to find and keep myself and my life, she means to put and my life, and my life safe. I could tell she just finished this. So how do we begin to heal? Good question. Here we go. Number 1. Accept that the narcissist in your life is a gaslighter. Just accept it, that it is, don't question it, he is. And learn the phrases and comments of gaslighting, so when they begin, you can put your fire suit on.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna suit up now.
Fire me.
Number 2, don't expect a narcissist to ever take responsibility for their gaslighting. That means that when they start to gaslight, do not engage. Silence and no response is the best response to gaslighting. That's a memo from Norma Lamb, by the way. Silence and no response is the best response to gaslighting. In other words, opt out of any conversation with gaslighters.
So don't try to correct
No,
them.
don't try to
or
nothing.
remind them, or.
Just walk away, say, oh, okay, you're right, bye. Okay, is that what you think? Okay. Because what they want to do is fuel off of you. That's what they're doing. And they want to keep you crazy so they can keep doing it.
That's so weird. Are they really aware of this, or they?
I don't know. I know that the person that was in my life is still gaslights all the time. I don't see them anymore, but
They
when I
get
did
fed.
see them, it's embedded in them.
Yeah,
I
they
don't-
get fed off
I
the,
get the feeling that he's just not aware. That
I don't think they're aware. I think it's like a disease or disorder that they just don't know how to even see it. They're incapable.
I see it as like Dr. Tracy said it, how it's part of the spectrum. So you know how you have like autism, to me it's like part of the spectrum, like you're diagnosed under the spectrum.
Yeah, I think that there are some more severe than others, but they still have that common need to gaslight. I mean, regardless if some do worse things than others, they have to fuel.
Do you think they could believe in God and have like a relationship with Jesus if they're so
Yeah, because their
the way they
perception.
treat others?
Yeah, because their perception convinces, they believe their own lies. So when someone believes their own lies, I'm a Christian, I'm a good
Right.
person, I get, yeah,
I see it like a split personality.
yes,
Where, they can be two different people.
yes, and they believe it. They totally, there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's
but
you.
It's also a cover-up of who they really are because they don't want to be known of who they really are because they're hiding that shameful part of themselves.
And they're really picky who their friends are.
Mm-hmm.
Very picky who their friends are. Who they socialize, they will make sure that they don't get close to people. There's only a few people they'll socialize with. It's really interesting how they're, I know that for a fact. Okay.
Like they want the upper, like the CEO types,
Yes.
like the high ballers, like the ones that wear masks as well.
Yes, and then they
So
wear their
they-
masks together with them. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, where were we? Okay, so number 3. Okay, this, you got 1 and 2, right, everybody? Number 3. This is a good one. She spoke about this last time. Keep a journal or record the incidents and conversations with the narcissist. Keep a journal. Remember that we are brainwashed victims. And what happens? Our trauma can cause us abuse, amnesia. Remember we talked about that? Oh, Mommy's better today. We've had a good week. Oh my gosh, he actually told me I look pretty. Maybe he's changed. Yeah, right. Okay. She missed number 4. Oh God, Tracy. Okay, I think we're on number 4. Number 4, have a safe person who you can have a reality check with. So like any of us. And finally, number 5, when the narcissist begins to talk, tap into your emotional GPS, that's your guidance system, and ask yourself our question of empowerment. Okay, when he starts talking, you know, it didn't really happen, you're sick again, you're just making things up. Oh my gosh.
You've been sick all year.
It's all your fault. You know you always think it's the worst of everything. Okay, here we go. Remember, you guys know this one. Who can guess what she's saying to say when he starts acting out? We talked about this.
So when they start acting out.
Oh, what
Okay, who knows
what-
that too?
what universe do you think this
No.
works in?
Close, that's only if you,
Oh, ask how
Well, this is
you're
for you to
feeling,
take care of yourself.
Because you're like, how do I feel about this?
yes, your self-love, self-care is when he starts out. Okay, how do I
Yes.
feel about this?
How do I feel about this?
That's your first thing to stop yourself. Because when you check in with yourself, you're not looking at him, you're looking at yourself, and you're gonna keep that sense of sanity. When it comes to not allowing yourself to be gaslit, remember that your truth is your truth, okay? So that's huge. She said that when she talked one day here, and that was amazing. That was so profound. Okay. Here's a memo from South Love Normal Land. My truth does not require anyone's stamp of approval. My truth does not require anyone's stamp of approval, especially that of a narcissist, as their only goal is to put your sanity at risk. But memo from Normal Land. Repeat after me, everybody. My sanity
My sanity
is not up
It's not
is
enough
not
for
up
negotiation.
for negotiation.
That's right. Your sanity is not up for negotiation.
We should also say my peace is not up for negotiation.
Yes, my peace is not up. My peace.
Like to maintain.
Okay, we're gonna do some heavy work today since we have a lot of time. Okay,